All right, what is up, everyone? Frittz here again with Sneakerhead Ambition. Today I've got another bot tutorial for you. I've been meaning to do this, excuse me, for quite some time because this is a bot I've had for a while. So I'm going to go over Hayha. I call it Hayha. Call it what you want to call it. But just a quick rundown before I kind of get into everything. So first off, this is an outstanding AIO bot, right? All-in-one bot. It really does work on every single site. I'm not gonna, I don't want to say every single, and you take that for, that's 100% gospel. But it pretty much works on every site. I'm not gonna say that it's the best Shopify bot or like the best Finish Line or the best Flex, but I post a lot about this bot as I think that once you've kind of got, first off, it's a great AIO bot to just have as your only bot. I'm not going to hate on it. I personally, I like Wrath and Valor Mac the most as my go-to on like Shopify automations, but I've run this bot a lot. But I think that this bot has a place no matter who you are because of how many sites it runs. I would not be able to hit all the pairs that I do without this bot just because of the fact that, like I said, it's one of the only games in town for a lot of sites. It covers the sites, right? Like just off the top of my head, right? It covers DSG, New Balance, Mischief, NBA Store, Nordstrom's, Hibbett, Puma, Shake, however you pronounce that, right? So just right there, right? A lot of those sites do drop pairs that you can run the bot on. And there's just really not many other bots out there that run those sites. There's some specialty bots that run one or two of them. But again, you're getting a great AIO bot that pretty much touches every site. And like I said, that's a lot of, again, DSG, New Balance, Mischief, NBA Store, Nordstrom's, Hibbett, Puma, Chic, right? All outstanding options, right? If you're really trying to maximize using your ISPs and using all your proxies and really trying to maximize each month. If you look in cook groups, there's a lot of good drops that come up on those sites that if you just have a bot that only runs Shopify and Nike, it's not going to fly, okay? And then on top of that, right, I don't want to say that it only works on those obscure sites. It also works great on Shopify, Foot Sites, Finish Line, has a Flex Raffle module. It works on Confirmed for the upcoming Easy drops for the rest of this year, right? Like I said, it really does work on everything. And it also works on a lot of non-sneaker sites, right? Like Best Buy, Amazon, Kohl's, just a lot of sites, right? I pretty much just routed off every site that you can bot. So this is a great option. And another thing that I really like about it is that they really do see, I've had this for a couple of years, they really do seem when there's like a site that comes out or a drop that's going to come up that has that doesn't have modules all around, they come up with them quick, right? They really pump those modules out and are ready to roll. Oftentimes, if there is a drop coming up that people aren't sure whether or not there will be a bot that can run it, this is the first bot on the market that is like, we're going to have a module ready to roll. So that's just my general rundown with this. I'm going to go through, per usual on these bot tutorials, I'm going to go through each one of these little not task groups, but sections over here. And
get that. Could you try again?
Oh, Siri's got something to say. But I'll get into that now, and I'll try to make this quick and just break this down as clearly as I can. Okay, so settings, right? Real quick. We've got, obviously I'm not going to click on license because I don't want to show you all my license, but that's where you would get your license, right? That's where it is. You can manage this from a browser where you just log in with your Discord on, if you're in the Hayha Discord, but that's where that will be. Browser, right? If you want to use any of the functions of this that use a browser, you can pick, right, which one. I just use Google Chrome. Mobile verification is going to be if you're doing anything with SMS verification, right? Tasks, this is where you're going to put in your webhooks. So again, if you, obviously I don't have mine in here because I don't want you all to be sending me nonsense, but you're going to just make sure that you put that in here, you hit test, and it should pop up in your Discord. If you're watching this and you don't know what a webhook is, it's basically just notifying you when you check out with more information than would pop up on the bot. Sounds, this is cool. I mean, I don't do anything with this, but you know, it has, you can put different sounds in there and kind of make it your own. Update, right? I got an update available, but for this I don't really need to do it, so that's pretty self-explanatory. And then here is just where you would import, you know, if you wanted to say take this to another server. Let's say you've got a setup here that you want, you can export the full setup or you can import it, and then you can export logs and all that good stuff if you need to. I'm actually going to delete these. If you want to show anything or work on anything with the devs, right? So settings is pretty clear. Now we'll move on to harvesters. Okay, onto harvesters, right? This is where you're going to be pretty much dealing with how you're going to solve captchas, and then I'll get to these two obviously coming up. But basically, right, you've got third-party solvers here, so these are companies that are not affiliated with the bot, and that you would put in keys from them. So like I just deleted these so you can't see them, but I did usually have 2 cat monster keys in there. And that's why it says the balance is that. But you can also put in 2 Captcha, any Captcha. And again, that's a company. You would go to those companies' websites. You can look them up on Google. You put in the keys there. And when you make tasks over here, which we'll get to later, you can select how the bot is going to solve Captchas, and it would kind of drain your funds as you go along. So you've got 3 options there. I use Cat Monster, works very well. AYCD AutoSolve, just deleted this as well, but if you want to use AutoSolve, right, this is where you would put in your access token and API key. Again, these are things that you would get from AYCD. All my videos in the information section have information on how to get that and discount code, so you can check that out if you want. That's a great option as well. And then, I mean, if you're going to do in-bot harvesters, if you want to open those up, right, you would come here and just, right, you'd set a proxy, you'd need to log into your Gmail, and then you would open it. I don't really use this on here. I use either I pretty much either use Cat Monster or rarely AYCD AutoSolve on here. I do use it on other bots, but pretty much, right, this is where you're going to input everything that you need for solving captchas. If you don't put stuff in here and you try to run tasks that require captcha solving, it's just not going to work. All right, here's Shape, which is cookie harvesting. Some of the sites, as we talked about, are a little obscure sites that require cookies. For here, right, what you would do is you would make a proxy list, and you would then, you know, you go in here, right, you'd title it, you'd pick the site you want to harvest them for, the cookies for, you'd pick auto, right, fingerprint method, standard, you can use those delays, and then you'd hit save. Then what you would do is you would hit open. I don't have any proxies in there right now, but you would hit open, a window would pop up on your browser, and it would start ideally collecting cookies, right, these are all very old, but it would start collecting cookies, and you should see this start ticking up as you go along. All right, so just, you know, ask in the Discord before drop. Just make sure you know if you need cookies. Again, if you try to run tasks on a site that requires cookies, you don't have any cookies, it's not going to work. Okay, and then settings, right? You can adjust here. I don't really do anything here. Maybe I should, but regardless, right? This is pretty much, you've got captchas and you've got your cookie generation here. All right, so that's settings, and we'll move on to account. All right, for accounts, right, this is going to be any site that requires an account to run, right? The big one right now is Confirmed. You know, foot sites, if you've got any of these Nike, any of the sites, again, that require, I think Shopify, right? Like, there you would put in undefeated, say, since they require accounts. But really, again, this is something that you need to figure out. I'm not going to go through each one of those and tell you, you know, what you need them for, and I'm not going to do that. But just know that if a site you're running requires an account to enter and to hit, this is where you would put them in, right? You put your email in as right? Whatever. Oops, sorry, something distracted me. Right, and then, right, something like that. And pretty much you would just file these down, right? Like when I'm running confirmed, I've got a couple hundred of these, right? You just put them in there and you should be good to go. But obviously if I was doing that, it'd be confirmed and you don't need the URL, right? But you, oh, and that was my bad, right? Remember, that's my fault. There's two of these between, right? And if you want to add a proxy to run on there, you don't need to do that, but you can. You put two more, and then you would copy and paste your proxy here. You can do this from a list, however you want to do it. But again, this is just for if you need accounts for a specific site. Not every site needs them, but again, just a quick rundown right there. All right, proxies. This should be pretty self-explanatory, but this is where you're going to put your proxies in, right? All you would do, I've got a couple lists right here. You can add new group, right? Throw it in there, but again, just copy paste, right? Just paste your big list, right? Just go down the list. You just get your proxies. Again, use whatever company you want to use. Pretty self-explanatory. You just paste them in here, add proxies, and the big list will pop up right here. All right. Again, very self-explanatory. I don't think I need to go into that too much. But that's proxy section. All right, profiles. This is where you are going to be setting up your profiles, right? Your billing profiles. So your accounts, again, would be down here. This isn't an account. This is just, let's say that you're running confirmed, right? Your account to log in to your actual confirmed account would be down here. And then this is where you would put in your billing profiles for the card you're going to use, the shipping address, the billing address, all of those things. I don't do this anymore, right? But you can put them in manually. I don't recommend doing that. It takes forever. But if you've got a couple cards, there's nothing wrong with doing that. I import, right? Just hit import. If you got AYCD or got them in some format or Hayha, right? You can just import them. That's how I do it. But again, you would just go in here, put everything in, add profile, and you're good to go. There'll just be a big list that pops up here. But like I said, I don't really do that anymore. I just import, export everything. So that's definitely the fastest way to do things. It might take a little more time initially to learn how to transfer everything efficiently from AYCD to here, back, get the right format, all those things, right? But I would highly recommend getting into the groove of doing that because as you scale up, it's not just 5 profiles you're putting in here. It's like 500 sometimes. So keep that in mind. Just something to think about, but I would highly import. But this is where you're putting in all your billing info and your shipping info with the card info and everything. So that is profiles, pretty self-explanatory. All right, I'm going to bang these two out since I don't have much to say on these. Setups, right? They're going to have setups here sometimes when you are, if there's a popular drop coming up, right, they can have setups posted here where you can just click on it and it pretty much does the setup for you. We're going to get to tasks in a second. But this can help, especially if you're just getting into this, this can help streamline your setup process and just make it more efficient so that you don't make little mistakes that are honestly quite common. So, you know, just check on this. If you just got the bot, just check on this before big drops. That can be helpful. And then monitors. Monitors, if you're not aware, is basically for automations, right? Automating your checkouts to monitor online when you are not at your computer. So Hayha could be running in the background while you're at work or while you're asleep, right? And you're essentially just going to pick any of these sites and it will monitor, right? So let's say I do, where we go? Let's say we do online release, right? Put in a SKU, right? I'd name it. Target items, that's where I'd put in the SKUs, select the source, right, front end, back end, and then signal strength, right? There you go. Again, just saying like how many of your tasks are going to start when you hear or when it senses that there's a drop, okay? Runtime, right, that's how long it's going to run before they go back to idle. So this is saying, right, 50 seconds, it's going to run for 50 seconds. If it doesn't hit anything, it's going to turn it off, right? So you don't just end up wasting all your proxy data and just, like I said, blowing through all your data and not hitting anything, right? So this is definitely a big thing, right? I mean, it's very useful to run, can be very helpful. Again, great AIO bot that has automations, but that's what monitors are, right? They're monitoring. You need proxy groups and everything loaded up, but it's just going to monitor online. It's going to trigger things to start. And like I said, you can customize that so that you're not wasting all your data, so that, you know, a certain percentage of your tasks start, all of those things, right? So you can really customize it to your situation. And that's pretty self-explanatory there. I'm going to be making a video on this, but just be careful with this. Don't load up a bunch of SKUs just hoping to hit something, because you could end up hitting a bunch of stuff you don't really want. Sometimes you don't want a bot to work that well. It works great. But yeah, so setups, monitors, pretty self-explanatory. I know I keep saying that, but yeah, just be careful with what you put in there. But this is another great feature. This bot really does have pretty much everything. So something great to use that can really help you hit more pairs, just because, again, you can't be at your computer all the time. So a great option. All right, tasks. Again, I'm not going to say pretty self-explanatory again, but this is where you're going to make your tasks that you're going to run the bot on, right? So like if I'm running for CHIMPs and I'm using my live proxies, right, or I'm running Lemon, right? Basically, you're going to make groups over here, and then you can add tasks, right? So if I was going to make a new group, let's say, or let's do foot sites, or let's do DSG, why not? Okay, so I'd come here, I'd first pick the site, right? So you got to pick what you're running. Let's say I'm running DSG, Dix. Then I go in here, I'd have to put, now this can be different for every site. I'm just going to do a little bit, but for this, you'd have to put in the URL, select mode. I'm not going to go over every one of these modes. If you want to get the bot and have it, right, look in the guides in Hayha. Every site is a little different, right? If I went down here and went to finish line, notice how this is going to change a little bit. Where we go, right? This changes a little bit. I might have to put in a SKU. This one is still this, but like, let's say that I'm going foot sites, right? See, notice how here now it's not asking for a link, it's asking for a SKU. So just be aware that this is all different, right? I could pick, Eastbay doesn't exist anymore, foot action, but Champ Sports, right? Again, there's a lot to pick from, right? But every one of these that you're going to do, you're going to have to pick your proxies, right? We talked about Captchas earlier. You're going to pick how you want to solve them. You're going to pick what profiles you're going to use. Like, let's say, right there. If you want to use Rakuten, that's there. We're not going to do account checkout because there's no accounts here. You can switch profiles on decline. And then, right, enable monitor feed, schedule task start, right? If you do that, you can have these scheduled to start at a specific time. That's outstanding. You can have them scheduled to stop at a certain time. So that's great too. If you know a drop is coming, and you've got to leave the house, you can set this up so that it'll run from a certain time to a certain time. That is very useful. But all in all, right, very straightforward. You would just add the tasks. Here I'd say 73, since that's how many profiles I got, right? Oh, I gotta have proxies in there. Throw those in there. Oh my goodness, I'm a mess. Bam, there you go, and it's gonna pop up 73, right? This is not saying one task per each profile. This is saying how many tasks total do you want, and they'll spread them across that. If I said 150, right, it's going to add 150 new tasks. Okay, very straightforward. So, and I mean, delays are here. Again, a lot of the details of this, I'm not going to, like I said, I'm not going to go over every single site. Notice how this is different, right? You need to, And again, I just want to point this out right here. It's got shape, right? For Nordstrom's, you need cookies. We went over that on settings. So just be aware that every one of these sites, like I said, is different. Just make sure you're covering your bases. Get in the Hayha Discord, ask questions, read guides, read before each drop, look in all the channels. If you do that, you're going to be fine. But that's pretty much how this works. Now, CLI mode is going to open up, right? It's going to open up a separate window that technically can handle more tasks. Something to keep in mind with this, though, is that a lot of these sites on here that they have are going to have a cap to how many tasks you are allowed to run. So that is another thing to check the Discord for before drops, because if you start, let's say 500 tasks and the cap is 20, it's going to tell you right here in status that you've exceeded the task limit, okay? If the bot is having trouble connecting, I've run into this before and I'm like, what's going on? Why isn't it working? Go down here, restart the back end. It's going to launch and it's going to reconnect. Okay, so there's a lot going on here, right? Sometimes make sure, right, that if you want everything selected, you've got right there. You can edit all, right? You can edit everything if you want with minor edits. But basically, right, it's something you'll have to play around with. Like I said, CLI mode can allow you to run more tasks if it's on a site where they're letting you max out tasks. So that's pretty much it. This is one of my favorite pieces of this is how detailed the dashboard is. Once I've started my tasks and things are running, most bots I kind of sit in here and look around to see what's going on. But this bot does an outstanding job of showing you everything right here, showing if it's getting session, how many monitors you got running, how far along things are. Very detailed once this is running. I do have some live cops up with this, so if you want to see what this looks like while things are running, you can definitely check that out. I haven't checked anything out in the last 24 hours, but very good bot, right? I love this bot. I would never, if I had to do a triage with my bots, this would not be one of the ones I would let go because, like I said, it just works on a lot of sites that other bots just, quite frankly, do not have modules for, all right? I highly recommend you getting a copy of this. Like I said, I think it's a great option if it's your first bot because it's a great bot. But I think that the thing that, for me, that this does is it covers every base you could possibly need. I pair this, I run Wrath and Valor a lot. I pair this with those, and I think that it's just an outstanding, indispensable bot if you're going to scale up and really try to, like I said, maximize each month, maximize each opportunity, maximize your resources, right? If you've got ISPs or you've got proxies that expire after a certain time and you're not using all the data, I can't recommend this bot enough. Like I said, the devs are on top of it. They're always updating it. So yeah, go get a copy. Let me know if you got any questions in the comment section below. I'm always happy to help you all out. But yeah, I think I've said pretty much what needs to be said on this. I've been meaning to do this for a while. A couple of people have asked me about this, but see if you can get a copy. Let me know if you got any questions. I should have some more videos coming up over the next couple days, weeks. I've got a lot recorded that'll be coming out, and July these releases really start heating up. So check back in the next couple days. Get yourself a copy of this. Let me know if you got any questions, and until next time, see ya.